Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 26, texts 1 through 7. So, text 1. Rajovacha. I think I will just read without repetition. Maharsha etad vaichitriam lokasya kathamiti. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Tattvavit dāsa Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. King Parikshit inquired from Shukadeva Goswami, "My dear sir, why are the living entities put into different material situations? Kindly explain this to me." Purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that the different hellish planets within this universe are held slightly above the Garbhodaka ocean and remain situated there. This chapter describes how all sinful persons go to these hellish planets and how they are punished there by the assistance of Yamaraj. Different individuals with different bodily features enjoy or suffer various reactions according to their past deeds. Text 2. Rishiruvacha. No need to repeat. Trigunatvat kartuh shraddhaya karmagatayah prithak vidhaah sarva eva sarvasya taratamyena bhavanti. The great sage Shukadeva Goswami said, "My dear king, in this material world there are three kinds of activities. Those in the mode of goodness, the mode of passion, and the mode of ignorance. Because all people are influenced by the three modes of material nature, the results of their activities are also divided into three. One who acts in the mode of goodness is religious and happy. One who acts in passion achieves mixed misery and happiness. And one who acts under the influence of ignorance is always unhappy and lives like an animal." Because of the varying degrees to which the living entities are influenced by the different modes of nature, their destinations are also of different varieties. Text 3. Athedanim pratishidha lakshanasya dharmasya tathaiva kartuh shraddhaya vaisadrishyat karmaphalam visadrisham bhavati ya hyanadyavidyaya कृतकामानां तत्परिणामलक्षणाः श्रुतयः सहस्रशः प्रवृत्तास्तासां प्राचुर्येणानुवर्षयिष्यामः. Just as by executing various pious activities one achieves different positions in heavenly life, by acting impiously one achieves different positions in hellish life. Those who are activated by the material mode of ignorance engage in impious activities, and according to the extent of their ignorance, they are placed in different grades of hellish life. If one acts in the mode of ignorance because of madness, his resulting misery is the least severe. One who acts impiously but knows the distinction between pious and impious activities is placed in a hell of intermediate severity. And for one who acts impiously and ignorantly because of atheism, the resultant hellish life is the worst. Because of ignorance, every living entity has been carried by various desires into thousands of different hellish planets since time immemorial. I shall try to describe them as far as possible. Text 4. Rajovacha Narakanam Bhagavan Kim Desha Vishesha Athava Bahis Trilokya Ahosvid Antarala Iti. Now we will explain all of this after we read these 7 verses first. Why now? What is the hurry? Don't do it now. No, don't do it now. There's no need. King Parikshit inquired from Shukadeva Goswami, "My dear My dear Lord, are the hellish regions outside the universe, within the covering of the universe, or in different places on this planet? Text 5. ऋषिरुवाच अंतराल एव त्रिजगत्यास्तु दिशि दक्षिणस्याम् अथस्ताद् भूमेर् उपरिष्टाच्च जलाद्यस्याम् अग्निश्वात्तादयः पितृगणा दिशि स्वानां गोत्राणां परमेण समाधिना सत्या एवाशिष आशासाना निवसन्ति. The great sage Shukadeva Goswami answered, all the hellish planets are situated in the intermediate space between the three worlds and the Garbhodaka ocean. They lie on the southern side of the universe, beneath Bhumandala, and slightly above the water of the Garbhodaka ocean. Pitraloka is also located in this region between the Garbhodaka ocean and the lower planetary systems. All the residents of Pitraloka, headed by Agnishvata, meditate in great samadhi on the Supreme Personality of Godhead and always wish their families well. Purport. As previously explained, below our planetary system are 7 lower planetary systems, the lowest of which is called Patalaloka. Beneath Patalaloka are other planets known as Narakaloka or the hellish planets. At the bottom of the universe lies the Garbhodaka ocean. Therefore, the hellish planets lie between the Patalaloka and the Garbhodaka ocean. Text 6. Yatra havava bhagavan pitrarajo vaivasvatah sva vishayam prapiteshu sva purushair jantushu stampareteshu yatha karma vadyam dosham evanulanghita bhagavat hasanah sagano damam dharayati. Jai Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan ki jai. The king of Pitas is Yamaraj, the very powerful son of the sun god. He resides in Pitraloka with his personal assistants, and while abiding by the rules and regulations set down by the Supreme Lord, has his agents, the Yamadutas, bring all the sinful men to him immediately upon their death. After bringing them within his jurisdiction, he properly judges them according to their specific sinful activities and sends them to one of the many hellish planets for suitable punishments. Purport. Yamaraj is not a fictitious or mythological character. He has his own abode, Pitraloka, of which he is king. Agnostics may not believe in hell, but Shukadeva Goswami affirms the existence of the Naraka planets, which lie between the Garbhodaka ocean and Patalaloka. Yamaraj is appointed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead to see that the human beings do not violate his rules and regulations. As confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 4.17, Karmano hyapi bodhavyam cha vikarmanah akarmanascha bodhavyam gahana karmano gatihim. The intricacies of action are very hard to understand. Therefore, one should know properly what action is, what forbidden action is, and what inaction is. One should understand the nature of karma, vikarma, and akarma, and one must act accordingly. This is the law of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The conditioned souls who have come to this material world for sense gratification are allowed to enjoy their senses under certain regulative principles. If they violate these regulations, they are judged and punished by Yamaraj. He brings them to the hellish planets and properly chastises them to bring them back to Krishna consciousness. By the influence of Maya, however, the conditioned souls remain infatuated with the mode of ignorance. Thus, in spite of repeated punishment by Yamaraj, they do not come to their senses but continue to live within the material condition, committing sinful activities again and again. This is the last verse, then we will explain everything. Text 7. Tatra haike narakan eka vimshatim ganayanti athatam ste rajan nama rupa lakshanato anukramishyamas tamisro andhatamisro rauravo maharauravah kumbhi pakah kalasutram asipatra vanam sukara mukham andhakupah krimi bhojanah संदंशस्तप्तसूर्मिर् वज्रकंटक शाल्मली वैतरणी पूयोदः प्राणरोधो विशसनं लालाभक्षः सारमेयादनम् अवीचिर् अयः पानम् इति किंच क्षारकर्दमो रक्षोगणभोजनः शूलोप्रोतो दन्दशूको वट निरोधनः पर्यावर्तनः सूचीमुखम् इत्यष्टाविंशतिर्नरका विविधयातना भूमयः. So these are the names of the hellish planets, the 28 of them. Some authorities say that there is a total of 21 hellish planets and some say 28. My dear king, I shall outline all of them according to their names, forms and symptoms. The names of the different hells are known as Tamisra, Andha Tamisra, Raurava, Maharaurava, Kumbhipaka, Kalasutra, Asipatravana, Sukaramukha, Andhakupa, Krimibhojana, Sandamsha, Taptasurmi, Vajrakantaka, Shalmali, Vaitarani, Puyoda, Pranarodha, Vishasana, Lalabhaksha, Sarameyadana, Avichi, Ayahpana, Ksharakardama, Rakshogana Bhojana, Shulaprota, Dandashuka, Avatanirodhana, Paryavartana, and Suchimukha. All these planets are meant for punishing the living entities. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmelitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sandho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this is the introduction of the hellish planets. Many times this is understood a little wrongly. We think that the hellish planets are this Tala, Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Tala, Atala, Rasatala, Patala, Atala, Vitala, Sutala. So these seven planetary systems are not hellish planets. Patala Loka is also not hellish planet. What is hellish planet? Where are the hellish planets? Huh? I did not understand. Is that what we understood? Where are the hellish planets? Where? What were you saying then? Just now we read where they are. Where exactly? Below Patal means? Above Garbhodaka ocean, but below Patala Loka. So, Bhumandala, The earth is actually a very thick region, very, very thick region. On the surface is where we are right now. We face sunlight. But the Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Rasatala, Talatala, right? Talatal, Rasatal, Patal, all these 7 planets, planetary systems, there is no sunlight. That means they are within the earth, within this whole thick layer of earth. So whenever earth is mentioned, like the Shankarshan, the hoods, the earth is this entire Bhumandal. So subterranean heavenly planets. So until Patal Loka are subterranean heavenly planets. Bila Swarga. Swarga, Bhauma Swarga, Bila Swarga. So all of them have heavenly happiness, but more and more gross, more and more atheistic. So even Patal Loka is actually a heavenly planet, but it's Bila Swarga, subterranean heavenly. Subterranean means within the terrain. Within the terrain means underground. Terrain means the ground, right? So subterranean, within the ground, underground. Like now, Kali Yuga, we have many of the cities underground. In Dwaraka, in the Dwapar Yuga, Dwaraka and Hastinapur, we don't find descriptions of the city being underground, right? But now we have cities underground. Much of the city is underground. Even in Singapore, for example, there is above ground, and there is also tunnels, trains, and sometimes even shopping malls and car parks, and a lot of things underground as well. I saw a photo or even a video of underground flood. What is that? Flood control facility in Japan, Tokyo. Video. You know how deep? Like we have these canals roadside. It's like 6 feet or 7 feet deep. That is like 40 stories deep. It's like huge. When you're inside that, when it's empty, it's like 40 stories high to the ceiling, and that's below, above that is the ground. And when there are huge tsunami and the kind of floods, the water comes here, and then the city doesn't get submerged. So that's the whole point. But there was a documentary recently that was done on Las Vegas, I think. The underground dwellers, city dwellers of Las Vegas, they're underground in America. Actually, it's supposed to be flood control facility, but people started living there, and they live there. And if there is a flood, many people die as well. There are drugs going on there, all sorts of things. So we find also military bases underground. So there's a lot of things we do underground now. Like even the digging of oil, it's an underground activity. They even go to the ocean floor and dig underground the ocean floor for oil. So in this way, we are trying to go subterranean. We think it is advancement, but actually we are going subterranean. Instead of being on the terrain, we are taking endeavors to go subterranean. That's actually a sign of the mode of ignorance. ऊर्ध्वं गच्छन्ति सत्त्वस्था मध्ये तिष्ठन्ति राजसाः जघन्य गुणवृत्तिस्था अधो गच्छन्ति तामसाः. Those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go upward to the higher planets. Those in the mode of passion live on the earthly planets, and those in the abominable mode of ignorance go down to the hellish worlds. Now, hellish worlds are, Naraka, but also the Bila Swarga is hellish happiness. It's not, although it is said Swarga, it's Swarga of the mode of ignorance. So that's the difference in the cosmic geography or the cosmology of the Vedas, that the planetary systems are arranged according to the modes of material nature. Whereas the way we see the planets, they have no order, which is up, which is down, everything is the same. And sun is there, moon is there, Saturn is there, everything is on the sky for us. For us, that's how we see it. But and that vision of us, which everything is just the same, everything on the sky, in the sky, doesn't give us a very good picture, doesn't even teach us anything about what is the higher state of consciousness, how to go there, or even if I'm not interested in going there, just to understand. You see how important this Bhagavatam description of the universe is. Why we should understand the planetary systems of this universe when it is just the material world. Why should we bother? We should be interested because when the planets are arranged in mode of ignorance, mode of passion, mode of goodness, and then the Vishuddha Sattva, mode of pure goodness, which is Vaikuntha planets, so we understand the hierarchy of these planetary systems, and then we would want to elevate our consciousness also to go above. Right? So otherwise we will not, there is no incentive. Oh, there are descriptions of different planets. Then if the Narakaloka, if we know if we know that hellish planets, this is the description, and the whole chapter is about the description of how people suffer there for different kinds of sins that we perform here. So it's not only the structure of the universe that is mentioned, but also the ways in which we can go there. Why should I be afraid of the hellish planets which are far away from me? If for example, I just saw yesterday, day before yesterday, one video about Saturn, the planet Saturn, according to modern science. And there is a similar video about Uranus, Neptune, Jupiter. And I saw those videos. I wanted to see how they explain those planets. And it looks interesting to the impartial observer who does not have knowledge. But if one has knowledge and some insight, especially of the Vedic cosmology, we will understand a very peculiar pattern in the description of those planets in those videos. You know how they explain? Oh, the smooth and beautiful rings of the Saturn. Around the Saturn there are rings, right? Did you learn that in school? There are rings around Saturn planet. Huh? Ice ring. So they show it. Oh, it's a round planet with beautiful rings around it. Then, if you go closer, this is how they explain. If you go closer, it's actually a planet of destruction. The rings that we see look so beautiful and so serene and so quiet and otherworldly are actually because some asteroid hit the Saturn planet and it's just fragmented into so many parts, and those parts are actually revolving around Saturn because of the gravity of the Saturn planet, and one day they will all get crushed they will one by one hit the planet and there will be destruction. Similarly, Neptune, Uranus, Jupiter, they explain it as a total destruction. This planet, it looks like the ingredients of life, but it looks like it's an imitation of life, but they're made of the ingredients of death. There's no way there is, I think in Saturn or one of the moons of Saturn or Uranus, there are mountains of plastic. Plastic. Now you may say, how can plastic go there? No, they can. Because plastic, where is plastic made from? From natural resources only. But they're made in a way where the decomposition doesn't happen, and then they become harmful to the environment. And these planets, apparently, they have mountains of plastic. Some of these one of those planets. So they explain as if they are death zones, absolute death zones. And we may think, oh, that's how these planets are. But actually, you know what is the message that is subtly being sent in such videos? Although they may not intend, or maybe it's an intended message, they don't say it loud, but they influence our consciousness subconsciously by making us think that all these planets, it's just a collision, it's just violence that brought forth, that was one of the lines of the video. He said, don't be fooled by the beauty, because this beauty is the result of absolute violence. So this is how they want to project it. The beauty that we see of this world is all an accident, is just a product of violence. So trying to hint that violence can bring about beauty. And they're all death zones. So life is only on this planet, only this one life. So enjoy it while you have it. That's the subtle message they're sending. Complete atheism they are teaching by this description of planets. And our vision of those planets, I don't know, these spacecrafts, how much they can see, what they can see. They cannot see everything. They see a very hopeless version of the universe. So such atheistic understanding of the cosmic situation does not inspire us. If we think that every other planet in the solar system, or the sun itself, or the moon, everything are death zones, I think I'm in the best place. And if we at all want to go to other planets, it is by spacecraft. And if at all we go there, we try to change their planet to suit our life. That is actually a much worse of situation. I will go there, maybe Elon Musk, he said, Mars is too cold, so we should go there and detonate nuclear bombs on the poles, north and south poles. We should explode some nuclear bombs, high-powered nuclear bombs, so that it becomes hotter, so that we can live there. Look at the brain. This is the atheistic brain. No God. This is asatyam apratishthante jagadahur anishwaram. Aparaspara sambhutam kimanyat kamahaitukam. They say, who say? The demoniac people. They say that this world is unreal, with no foundation, no God in control. They say it is produced of sex desire and has no cause other than lust. Yes, what is the problem with that kind of a viewpoint? That kind of a worldview? What is the problem with that? One will engage in lust. Oh, sex, that's it. That's all that happens. That's why there is life. So we should be, if you like life on this planet, you see, life is not on all these other planets. Our earth is full of life. How did the life come? Because of sex. And therefore, just enjoy while you have it. No other planet has this. You have it. You are in the best place. Just enjoy life. This is their idea. This is the atheistic viewpoint. And to combat this viewpoint, we have to have the Vedic cosmology. It is so important. Now, we may not go there. It is not just to satisfy our itch of curiosity that we are being explained these planetary systems. Oh, I am curious of what are the planets in the universe, and therefore some description is given to satisfy my curiosity. No, it's not just that. Because curiosity, if I don't know about Uranus planet or Neptune or even Mars or even Sun, if I don't know about those planets, nothing much will change in my life, right? Almost. I'll live the same way, I will eat and whatever. So, materially, there is no real profit in understanding that Saturn has these rings because of some violent collision of an asteroid. How am I going to benefit from that new information? Oh, is it? I have some gratification of some so-called knowledge, which is also not true. Maybe it's true, maybe. It can be true, maybe. But what relevance does it have in my life? It doesn't ring a bell for me. Only if I'm an enthusiast of astronomy, I may be interested in that. But even if I know that, what is going to change in my life? But here you see, the planets and their positions are described, their distances, their speeds, their orbits are described, but in a way that is relevant to our life. Oh, hellish planets are so far away. But then you can go there. If we are not careful, we can go there. Oh, our activities in this life are the fuel that will take us there to those planets. Also, how I live my life here matters. How the situation in the higher planetary system is there, and how people in the mode of goodness are rewarded, at least in a better material situation. They're rewarded with that. So, even if I'm not completely spiritual, I may be encouraged to act piously at least, so that I can go to heavenly planets and enjoy some heavenly delights. And if one is actually tasseva heto prayateta kovida, when one is a kovida, that means one is broadly intelligent. Nayad pramatam yad, what is that? Pramatam yad uparyada. We will come back here. Nalabhyate, yes. Tasyaiva hetoh prayateta kovido nalabhyate yad brahmatam uparyatha tallabhyate dukkhavadanyatah sukham kalena sarvatra gabhira ramhasa. Gabhira ramhasa. Persons who are actually intelligent and philosophically inclined should endeavor only for that purposeful end, which is not obtainable even by wandering from the topmost planet, Brahmaloka, down to the lowest planet, Patala. As far as happiness derived from sense enjoyment is concerned, it can be obtained automatically in the course of time, just as in course of time we obtain miseries, even though we do not desire them. So the intelligent person, what is Kovida here? Let's see. Kovidaha, one who is philosophically inclined. So this cosmic situation of the Vedas, of the Puranas, very much appeals to the philosophically inclined. And in fact, even if one is not philosophically inclined, it will make you philosophically inclined. Whereas the materialistic description of these atheistic dead zones of these planets do not inspire anyone. In fact, if anything, you are scared of everywhere, you will think that you are in the best place. So if I think I'm in the best place and there is nothing better that I can go to, then I think I'm good enough. I have hit the jackpot of this creation. So I will not improve myself. But if I know that I'm part of the middle planetary system, and there are higher beings who are much more well behaved and better off in their intelligence and culture and everything, and they are in the higher planetary systems, if I understand that, and ultimately there is the Vaikuntha Loka, which is far higher even, then I would want to improve myself. I want a higher situation. Who doesn't want, right? People come from India to Singapore. Why? Because the standard of living is higher. So if there is an opportunity to go somewhere where the life is better quality, then I would want to go there. If crime rate is low, if pollution is less, noise pollution is less. She just came from India. I mean, of course, it's a spiritual place, Punya Bhumi. But you see, now because of the materialists who are occupying and who are not interested in spiritual culture, you see, supposed to be the example of God consciousness, India, Bharat. And cleanliness comes next to godliness. And cleanliness is not there. Godliness, something is there, but sentiment is there. But philosophy, the understanding is being lost. And therefore, they don't even have pride in their own culture. They think the Western culture is better. Why? Why did that happen? Propaganda. Propaganda. The Hollywood, the news channels, the social media, the advertisements, everything is from the American propaganda. So whatever we are fed, we think that is right. Whether it is right or wrong, if we are fed that propaganda, we will think it is right. And if we shame people, especially that culture, oh, you're religious, oh, you're so backward, you're not cool, you're not trendy, to make you feel that, oh, yeah, I don't want to show my religion. Children, I mean, we grew up like that. If we are religious or something, people would mock at us, even in India. So, so such culture will deteriorate the Vedic culture. So, this understanding, this education, where we understand the higher levels, what is up, what is down. So, with this Swargaloka or even higher lokas, Janaloka, Mahaloka, Janaloka, Tapoloka, Satyaloka, and downward, below Bhumandala, Bhuvar Swaha, Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka, Swargaloka, Mahaloka, Janaloka, Tapoloka, Satyaloka. Then below, Tala, Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatal, Rasatal, Patal. All these 14 planetary systems are arranged according to the modes of material nature. So then I will be incentivized to improve my modes. So how to improve my mode? I should associate. Sangat sanjayate kamaha. According to my association, my desires will develop. Right? So if my association is with the mode of goodness, then I will develop such qualities and I will go to higher planetary systems. And also we should understand what is the consequence of mode of ignorance. Because without that, we will not be alert enough not to commit sinful activities. We should be alert. Say always the durena hi avaram karma, buddhi yoga dhananjaya. What does Krishna say? Durena hi avaram karma, buddhi yoga dhananjaya. Buddhau sharanamanvichha kripanaha phalahetavah. O Dhananjaya, keep all abominable activities far distant by devotional service. Abominable activities means sinful activities. Avaram karma. Varam means, what is varam? Like asura varya, suravara, or natavara. Natavara means what? What is natavara? Natavara means what? Have you heard the word natavara? Yeah, what is natavara? What is natavara? What is natavara? Not just dancer, the best of dancers. Natavara. Vara means like asura vara. Asura varya dehinam. Prahlad Maharaj called his father Hiranyakashipu as asura varya. Varya means in vocative when you address him. Asura vara means noun form. So vara means best. Avara means the opposite. So durena hai avaram karma. Avaram means abominable. Varam means the best, exalted. Avaram karma means sinful activities. Durena, we should, dura means far. We should leave such sinful activities far away. How? Buddhi yoga dhananjaya. Buddhi yoga means bhakti yoga, where our intelligence is fixed on Krishna. That is buddhi yoga or bhakti yoga. By devotional service, we have to keep far away. So I have to be alert. I have to also know the consequences of sinful activities. So therefore, hellish planets are described. It is not just to scare us. Oh, just find out for fun. Let's see what the hellish planet is all about. No, my activities today will take me there if I am not careful. So it is a very real, present, relevant instruction. Although the hellish planets are far, far away from us, it is a very relevant topic that we need to discuss because it depends on our activities here. So that's why the spacecraft of going by spacecraft to other planets is another useless thing. Not only is the money waste, the effort waste, the lives of those scientists wasted, but also it gives us a wrong understanding of the universe. There is no God consciousness there, nothing. Whereas if we understand that my actions are the ones which will take me to other planets, then every one of us are actually an astronaut in that sense. We are all traveling in through space. Brahmanda Bhramite Kono Bhagyavan Ji. Guru Krishna Prasad Pai Bhakti. Brahmanda Bhramite. And in 1861, what is it? Bhramayan Sarva Bhutani Yantra Rudhani Mayaya. Brahmayan means this wandering of the living entities is because of our actions, not because of some fuel you dig from the earth. Some petrochemicals you dig from the earth, and that is the fuel that will take you to, or some nitrogen, whatever. That's not the fuel. The fuel is our activities. So each and every one is undergoing a journey, and one is, we are actually now in a bus stop. We're in a bus stop right now. You know, when you travel from one, when you change buses or trains, briefly we are held together in one place, and then everybody takes their own bus and goes different directions. So similarly, this is a transit. We are in transit. Like she is in transit right now. From India back to Reunion Islands, middle she came to Singapore for a while. So like that, we are transiting in all these different places. Brahmayan Sarva Bhutani. So while we are in transit, we have to understand, where is my next destination? Where? Which ticket I have to buy? What is the price of that ticket? I have to know, right? So the atheistic people, this is their understanding, that no God in control. What they will do when they have this kind of idea, because your ideas will propel your actions. According to my idea of life, my actions will be accordingly. If I think that my family is everything, then I'll work very hard for my family, or I love my family, I'll do everything. Or if I understand Krishna is everything, then my activities also will change. I have to serve Krishna. So you see, because these people have atheistic viewpoints of the world, they say the whole world is unreal and no God in foundation, no foundation of God in control. You see, this is their activities. Etam drishtim avashtabhya nashtatmano alpabuddhayah prabhavanti ugra karmana kshayaya jagato ahitaha. Hita means benefit, ahita means unbeneficial. Following such conclusions, the demoniac, who are lost to themselves and who have no intelligence, engage in unbeneficial, horrible works meant to destroy the world. Meant to destroy the world. This is what happens with their activities. What they will do? Only ugra karma. This is what has happened. What is space exploration? What is this oil digging, and what is that? And what is all the, now you see all our devotees also, they are made to work for 12 hours, sometimes 14 hours, night and day. Like, this is ugra karma. There is no time for self-realization. Hardly one can finish one's rounds. Stop. Hardly one can finish even one's rounds. Where is the question of reading and understanding and preaching? How to do? This is because the system is set by atheistic people. Then what will happen? काममाश्रित्य दुष्पूरम दंभम मान मदान्विताः मोहात् गृहीत्वा सद्ग्राहान् प्रवर्तन्ते अशुचिव्रताः. Shuchi, ashuchi, vrata. Vrata means the vow. They have a vow of asuchi. They are vowed to unclean. Taking shelter of insatiable lust and absorbed in the conceit of pride and false prestige, the demoniac, thus illusioned, are always sworn to unclean work, attracted by the impermanent. Attracted by the impermanent, this material body and the material world. They just, they want new technology. What are you going to do with that? Or some useless video game. Roblox. Not playing, right? Minecraft. You're playing. Good. Don't play. So all this is impermanent. So in this way, this whole chapter is about demoniac nature and the consequences. So as Krishna says in the end of the 16th chapter, you see, okay, let's go to 16:16 as well. अनेक चित्त विभ्रांता मोहजाल समावृताः प्रसक्ताः कामभोगेषु पतन्ति नरके अशुचौ. Thus perplexed by various anxieties and bound by a network of illusions, they become too strongly attached to sense enjoyment and fall down into hell. So that hell is being described. Now Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita just said hell, or sometimes he even said in the further verses here, 16:19. तानहं द्विषतः क्रूरान् संसारेषु नराधमान् क्षिपाम्यजस्रम् अशुभान् आसुरीष्वेव योनिषु. Those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest among men, I perpetually cast into the ocean of material existence, into various demoniac species of life. See? The atheistic people will be in this. So, asurim yonim apanna moodha janmani janmani mam aprapyaiva kaunteya tato yanti adhamam gatim. Attaining repeated birth amongst the species of demoniac life, O son of Kunti, such persons can never approach me. Gradually, they sink down to the most abominable type of existence. In the Narakaloka, in the hellish planets, it's very abominable. How much suffering is there? So our activities here will take us there if we are not careful. And so we have to be very, very careful. We have to be alert. So Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, these are all like synopsis. Bhagavatam is more detailed. Okay, instead of just saying hell, okay, what are the hells? 28 different types of hells. Each hell, which sin will get you to which hell? So this is more detailed knowledge. There can be infinitely more detail. But this will give us an idea. So we can conduct ourselves accordingly. So going back to, this is a very important point here, 526.3. It is said here, just as by executing various pious activities one achieves different positions in the heavenly life, by acting impiously one achieves different positions in hellish life. Those who are activated by material mode of ignorance engage in impious activities, and according to the extent of their ignorance, they are placed in different grades of hellish life. Now, this is another thing we should understand. Why should I tell this repeatedly? Why can't you just be attentive? This is not good. You're young people, you know. You should have some. Why are you so restless? Don't do that. I'm not going to waste my time doing this. And I'm on live, you know. This will be forever. Don't do that. So this is the difference. Not difference. This is the detail. Now, when we say mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance, Sattva, Raja, and Tama, they are not just three modes. This is the broad classification. But in Sattvagun also there is mixture. So there is mixture of passion and ignorance. In Rajagun also there is mixture of passion and goodness and ignorance. In ignorance there is a bit of passion and goodness also. And to the extent to which these modes are mixed, there are gradations of Sattvagun, gradations of Rajagun, gradations of Tamogun. And that's why there are 8,400,000 species of life. We say, oh, mode of goodness, you get this life, mode of passion, this life, mode of ignorance, this life. But why there are 8.4 million varieties? Why? And even in one variety, like for example, let's take cockroach. There is one variety. But no two cockroaches are alike. For us, they look alike because we can't make much difference, but they can identify themselves. Even among human species, even in the same family, there are so many differences. Not everybody is like robot, everybody is like created like a robot machine. No. Everyone has individuals. So we cannot say that all this species is in this level of this percentage of ignorance, this percentage of passion, this percentage of goodness, this species. We cannot even say like that. Because even in the same family, there are different levels of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Even in the same person, there is fluctuations of the mode of goodness, passion, ignorance. Like sometimes we have mood swings, right? Sometimes we are angry, sometimes we are jovial, sometimes. Why these swings? Because of sattva, raja, tama. Different, like weather. We say Singapore weather is like this. But sometimes it can be something different also. It can be a little bit colder, it can be a little bit too rainy or too hot. It can go out of the ordinary. So climate is like, there are seasons, right? Those are broad, different seasons. Like Singapore doesn't have many seasons, almost it's the same all the year round. But many places in the world, there are winter, summer, there's a huge fluctuation. Winter, it goes to minus 30, minus 40, and summer is like 30 and 40, 80 degrees. There is a variation, 80 degrees variation, like life is so different when one season from another. But here it's not that much. So that is the climate. But even within winter, for example, or within summer, some days are cold, some days are rainy, some days are hot, like that. It depends. So there is so much variation. So here it is said that those who are activated by the material mode of ignorance engage in impious activities, and according to the extent of their ignorance, they are placed in different grades of hellish life. Not all hellish life is same. Different grades. If one acts in the mode of ignorance because of madness, his resulting misery is the least severe. One who acts impiously but knows the distinction between pious and impious activities is placed in a hell of intermediate severity. And for one who acts impiously and ignorantly because of atheism, the resultant hellish life is worse. Do you understand this? Do you understand this? This sentence, for example, if one acts in the mode of ignorance because of madness, his resulting misery is the least severe. What is the meaning of this? Do you grasp it? What is it? Why you said yes? Huh? Tell what you understood. Huh? It's okay if you're wrong, but you should try. There's no shame in being wrong. Yes. Yes. Like that you must tell now. Yes. So even in the court, if you go and see if somebody murders someone, but if that person is crazy, and if he murders someone, what punishment do you want to give him? Maybe some rehabilitation, some least severe punishment. But if he knows what is correct and wrong, he will get more punishment. And if a police does the crime, he gets most punishment. You are supposed to uphold law and then you are doing it. So different grades of punishment for the same activity, for the same crime. The different people get different grades of punishment because of the severity of the crime. Of course, because this world is corrupt, there are some elites who will never get punished, whatever nonsense they do. But don't worry, Krishna's law of karma will not excuse them. They will have to pay. So that nobody can escape Krishna's law. But this is the point. The ignorance, if it is because of madness, he doesn't know what he's doing. That is least severe. So that's why when we come to Krishna consciousness and still yet do something wrong, it is more punishable because I know what is right and wrong. What is the distinction between pious and impious activity? So therefore, and atheism, like here, atheism, if I completely not just doing wrong, but if I completely deny even God, and I say, what nonsense all this, I'll just do whatever I want. That kind of very deliberate sinning is worst. Okay, you're not just making a mistake. Mistake also will be punished, but you're not just making a mistake. You're invested in that understanding that there is no God, and you want to deliberately go against the rules of God. So that is very high. He has to be severely punished. And for one who acts, so this is the thing. So even hellish planets, there are gradations according to our activities. Okay. And as we said, where is the, so Parishad Maharaj asked a question. So this is how spiritual life is. Spiritual life, Krishna consciousness, is not that we just listen whatever Krishna says and like that. If we don't understand something, we should ask. We should actually think about it. Questions will only come when I deeply think about the subject I am engaging with, and then I have to see whether I understood everything or not. If I did not understand something, I should want to find out. And such finding out should be in relation to how I can advance in my Krishna consciousness. Why Parikshit Maharaj? He is going to die. He is going to die in a few days' time. Why is he asking, like, does he have so much time to discuss about all the planets of the universe and what is going on there? Oh, like that. Oh, okay. Oh, they are suffering. Oh, okay. What that planet? What is going on there? Oh, that planet. What chit chatting is it? Time pass? No. He's asking this because it's a very pertinent question. There has to be purpose in questioning. Sometimes I see in the lectures in the online. Yesterday also night, I was having a lecture. Somebody asked me a question. You know what's the question? Prabhu, how was your seva today? How was your sadhana and seva today? I said, none of your business. You ask question according to the topic of the class. You first listen. Why you're typing away? Why are you using your keyboard? Stop using your hands. Listen first. Another person, Prabhu, I feel like I'm a loser in life. Okay, then be a winner. Hear first. Listen, then you'll be a winner. Otherwise, you'll be forever loser. I don't care whether you're depressed. The only way out is to hear Harikatha. And if Harikatha is going on and you're writing, and will you answer my question? I'm depressed. I think I'm a loser. Then after some time, will you answer my question? When will you answer my question? Hey, I will not answer your question. Okay, I will not answer your question. You ask all you want. I'll never answer your question. You hear. That's what I told. So questions should also be pertinent, like you say, how he's asking. And he's asking because so that we know. And you see, as he was describing hellish planets, you will notice at the end that Parishit Maharaj becomes very compassionate. This whole topic of universe, planets and everything stops. You know how? Because of the compassion of Parishit Maharaj. At the end of this chapter, in the beginning of the 6th canto, he says, okay, now I think it's enough description of all these planets. If they are suffering this much in the hellish planets, how they can be saved? How can they be saved? What chance do they have? Like, what is the best way of saving? Then Ajamil story comes and the whole holy name, everything like that it goes. The topic changes. The segue is because of the compassion of Parikshit Maharaj. So we should understand all of this in relation to our activities, and then, okay, if that kind of destinations are there, and if they depend on my activity, so how to immunize ourselves from such results, how to save ourselves from such results. So that's devotional service. And then chanting of the holy name especially is the antidote that Sukadeva Goswami explains in the next chapter, 6.1. The whole Ajamil story starts. Is there anything else that I wanted to say? So the Pitraloka, Yamaraj is here. So where is Pitraloka? Sometimes we're saying, oh, where is Pitraloka? Pitraloka is here at that near Hellish planets, above Garbhodaka ocean, below the um, subterranean heavenly planets, below Surga. What else? And Yamaraj has all these servants, Yamadutas. And it's not just mythological, fictitious character, he's a real personality. In fact, he's one of the Mahajans, one of the 12 most authoritative sages on, authorities on devotional service, bhakti. And then all these names of the hellish planets are described, hellish worlds. So, going forward, there will be description of each of these hells, one by one, one by one. What sin will get us to what hell and what happens in that hell. So all these things are described. In Garuda Puran, there is even more descriptions of these hellish planets. So that is the subject. So I'll stop here. Any questions or comments on this topic? Yes, Mataji. Yes. This mic is not for amplification in this room, but for the live stream. Good question. So this is actually explained in the third canto. Yes. In short, the answer is yes. We will. Haribol. In short, yes. We will first go to the hellish planets and suffer there, and then start again where? Okay, I'll show you this verse. We will not come back to human life after that suffering. 3:30-34. अधस्तान्नरलोकस्य यावतीर्यातनादयः क्रमशः समानुक्रम्य पुनरत्राव्रजेच्छुचिः. Having gone through all the miserable hellish conditions and having passed in a regular order through the lowest forms of animal life prior to human birth, and having thus been purged of his sins, one is reborn again as a human on this earth. So he goes to the hellish planets and he goes, and having passed in a regular order through the lowest forms of animal life prior to human birth, then he will come to human being again. Then again he can decide where he wants to go. Each time. So, go to hellish planets, then become a fish, then all the 900,000 forms of fish, and then trees, and then insects, birds, all this, and again we come back to human life. This is the general rule. Sometimes we may go not absolute low, like Bharat Maharaj. He became directly deer and then directly human again. So that's another example. So, but this is the general order, but there are so many variations to this. But this is the general rule. Of course, Bharat Maharaj is an exception because he was a devotee. So he was just born a deer, came back to human form, went back. So it was very fast for him, 3 lifetimes. That is already fast. We think we want to go in 1 lifetime to Krishna. Yes, it requires a lot of Krishna consciousness. But yes, he goes to stages. So that's why I said this many times that 1 second. That this life is just maybe 60, 70, 80 years. But what we do here will determine our future for the next few millions of years. This lifetime, what we do will determine our few millions of years into the future. It's very, very, the time that we have in this world is so important as a human being. I have many times told, I just gave one example. Like in one day, if I eat meat, morning, afternoon, evening, meat means includes fish, like even onion, garlic, or eggs, or such things. When I kill like that and eat, and even vegetarian food, if it's not prasadam, it's still sinful. So I will have to answer to all that killing, especially animal killing. So if I eat in the breakfast, maybe some fish and some 2, 3 eggs or whatever. So maybe some 4 lives, 5 lives I have caused the death of for my breakfast, or some prawns or whatever. Sometimes the icambilis, the small fish, small fish. There are many on the plate. So maybe like 15, 20 or even more. They say kropo. In Malay, they say kropo, which is the fish, fried fish, like crackers. Like we eat papadam, they eat that one. Then you eat like maybe 5, 6, you're paying for that. Lunch, maybe another 10, maybe a chicken here and then a mutton there and like few things, or small things here. So let's say in one day, I'm causing 20 lives, death of 20. So I have to take 20 births to be killed in that way. So 1 day of food is causing me to suffer for 20 lifetimes. Imagine if I'm living for 60, 80 years in this world. The longer the lifetime, the worse it is. The longer the suffering for the sinful people. So it's not worth it. So therefore, this human life is so important. It's not just we go to hell and come back here. No. Some Hindus, they have this idea that we take birth 7 times. And after that, we go back to God. What kind of a logic is that? What logic is that? You do whatever you want, 7 lives will go back to God. What nonsense is that? This is the actual thing. Any other questions? Yeah.
You said that Devaraj is other pure devotees. My question is that recently we did a drama also in the Puranas it mentioned that Jagannath, when he was on the way back, saw all the people in the Hellish that he was suffering. But association that he went there because of him, he took the Hellish and came over. So my question is, Jagannath and Maharaj, why the Maharaj and the compassion with Indian activity? Why Maharaj can't do this? Why he has to punish? Why can't he just keep Indian activity? I mean, he also will see them suffering. Why the Maharaj should do? Why he?
So Yamraj is a pure devotee. He has all compassion, but he has to do his duty. What was given to him. He hardly preaches in the hellish planets. He does his duty of punishing, because somebody has to do that also, right? So he's doing his duty. So his assigned job was that. So whether we preach or what is our duty, we should take orders from a higher authority and execute their order. Like Gaurkishore Das Babaji, he is inspired by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to show the example of renunciation. He is empowered to show the example of renunciation. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was empowered to exhibit the opulence of knowledge. Gaurkishore Das Babaji exhibited the opulence of renunciation. Sakshat Vairagya Murti. And Prabhupada is empowered to show the empowerment of preaching. So different people, different devotees, pure devotees are empowered and inspired and ordered by Krishna in different ways. Like Surya, Vivaswan, he is an acharya of the Sampradaya as well, Surya Sampradaya. He heard directly from Krishna and he propagated that science. But at the same time, he's also doing his heavenly duties as a demigod. So the demigods, all of them are devotees. But then some of them are pure devotees, some of them are not. Like Surya, he is actually a pure devotee because he heard from Krishna. Not all demigods are pure devotees. Not all the time Brahma is a pure devotee. Our Brahma is a pure devotee. So, but still he has the creation as his duty. He preaches also, but creation also. But you see, when Ajamil's story happened, Yamaraj also preached. So when there is an opportunity, then he takes a break from his thing and he preaches. In fact, Yamaraj came as Vidura because of this reason. You know, he kept Aryama there to do the activity of stand-in Yamaraj. Aryama is the demigod of the Pitraloka. So Aryama went to Yamalok and he supervised the Yamaraj duties. He was standing in for Yamaraj duties while Yamaraj came to this earth as Vidura so that he can hear Harikatha and he can preach. So he preached to Dhritarashtra and he heard from Maitreya and he had the association of Krishna also. So he wanted a relief vacation from his Yamaraj duties and go to Krishna for association. So, whereas Janak Maharaj, when he went there, he just went to deliver them. He did not go on a duty, he went on a compassionate tour. That's why the sadhus, they go without any duty, they just go. And their only duty is to help others by preaching. What again?
Even if there's a chance to deliver, then the ultimate difference of it.
You should speak in a way that they also, everybody listen to your question.
So even if there is a way to deliver, then it's ultimately dependent on Krishna.
Krishna always wants to deliver. Krishna always wants to deliver. We don't want. So there's a pure devotee there. You know why he put a pure devotee to in charge of the hellish planets? No. See, pure devotees can be sent as demons also. Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. If Lord wants to fulfill a purpose, he will send his devotees to execute it. Sometimes they may act as demons because Krishna won't kill ordinary demons almost. He never kills ordinary demons. Some exalted demon he will kill. He'll put that as an example, but other demons are killed by some tsunami, some war or something like that. Ordinary demons are killed like that, not directly by Krishna. Because directly killed by Krishna means go back to Godhead. That doesn't come for everyone. So why he is put in the hellish planet, such a pure devotee? Because nobody can handle such kind of. You have to be absolutely without corruption. Only pure devotee is without corruption. So somebody of that, if a police is corrupt, then how you can have law and order in the country? So the police has to be really top notch. So if the hellish planets, if that person who's in charge there, if he's not responsible and he is lenient, then the whole point of karma, because law is only as effective as its execution. The law can be in the book, but if there's no execution, if the police are not strict, what is the meaning of this book? It doesn't. So it has to be matching exactly. And such adherence to strictly follow the rule of the book of Krishna will only be done by pure devotee. And therefore a pure devotee is put in charge in the Yamalok. And he is in charge of that duty. And he does it very well because Maya, Durga Devi, is a pure devotee. She can preach, right? Oh, you have all come into my world. Okay, I will preach to you now. No. They are not interested in that. Pure devotees can only preach. But who will get interested and who will not, and how much they get interested, that's different, right? So the management of the institution, whether it be a temple or the whole material world or the hellish planets, involves unpleasant duties. Sometimes chastisement is required. So chastisement is, Yamaraj does the chastisement part. It's a thankless task. Nobody will thank him for that. After the punishment, the suffering souls, they will not say, thank you, Yamaraj. No, they will not say, I'm suffering, you put me there. So you see, it's a thankless task, but he has to do it. So unpleasant duties will be there. You can only inspire by preaching. You can sow the seeds. If it is a barren land, he will not take to Krishna consciousness, right? What will happen to him? What will happen to him? So that has to be taken care of, right? You understand my point? Because if free will is there, now if Yamaraj preaches, not every one of them will become devotees. We have the example, like Prabhupada preached. He is a pure devotee, but not everyone became pure devotee. In fact, most of us are not, or rather, almost all of us are not pure devotees. So, same thing may happen even in Yamalok. So, what will happen to those who are not pure devotees? Those who are pure devotees, okay, they're saved, well and good, going back to Godhead, good. What about the rest of them? There has to be some system to accommodate them. So, that duty has to be done. Janak Maharaj did not have that responsibility. He just went, purified whoever, not that. You see, even there also, hellish planet almost became empty. Some did not become empty. Right? Because there are some idiots there, rascals who are still there. Even after Janak Maharaj, they still not with you. So, there are people. So, they have to be punished. Who will do that duty? So, we can inspire. But if the police, if the Singapore government, they have to take care of everyone. The very highly educated and obedient citizens and the ruffians. They have to cater to both. Both have to be in Singapore. Now, this Singaporean who is a very responsible citizen, he has to be encouraged. And the one who is a disturbance to society, he cannot be thrown out, oh, you are disturbance society, let me throw you into the sea, in the ocean and let you die. No, he still has to be in Singapore. But if you let him loose and just preach to him, be a good guy, and don't do all these things, he said, okay, you'll come out and do same things again. So there has to be some strict thing also. You can't just inspire only. There are people who will not listen to that. They're dead in the mode of ignorance. So okay. And there has to be rules and regulations. So everybody has to be accommodated. So that is the challenge. Pure devotees only come and preach and take those who listen to them. Others are not delivered. Of course, whatever you do is good. Next life you will get back. But that arrangement, next life you will get back a chance to in a devotee family, or you will contact all this. Where is that arrangement being done? How is that arrangement being done? Because there is a whole arrangement in the cosmos that the demigods are in charge of these planets, then there are these families, there are hellish planets. Those are maintained by different demigods who are responsible servants of Krishna. Because of that only we can say Neha Vikramanashosti Pratyavayo Navadyate Swalpam Apyasya Dharmasya Trayate Mahato Bhayat. They will take birth in a better situation. Who is going to decide that? Krishna is not directly going to do it. His agents, the demigods, under Krishna's order, but they do it. So they have to hold their positions. They assist the pure devotees who just come here, preach, and benefit everyone. But then the system still has to be maintained. Prabhupada said in our ISKCON, of course we are now not part of ISKCON, but he wanted the ISKCON in a way that temple presidents, they manage the temple. The GBC, they travel and preach and inspire. And in GBC, the sannyasi will come and give a lecture or counsel someone or do something. But he's not setting up the system, or he's not maintaining the system. System is maintained by the temple president and the board of directors, secretary, treasurer, and all of that. So even though the sannyasi may inspire, For the regular training of that person, the solid foundation system is the temple system. They come and inspire and go back and travel around. So that's what the pure devotee's job is. They are sent here to purify, but those who are in charge, they maintain the system. You got the point? Anything else? You speak up louder. What are you talking? Not what? Not focused. Okay. Hmm. What was the last thing you said? You got to speak louder, you know. I cannot understand what you're saying. When he went to kill Romaharshan, he did not go to kill Romaharshan. He went there, Romaharshan misbehaved, he killed him. Yeah. The sages what? Deemed him as guilty. Uh-huh. Hmm. He was not punished. The one told him. So, good question. So, how come Balaram was? But how is it related to? Hmm. 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 Least severe punishment. Who was crazy here? Okay. No, but are you saying that Balram was crazy? No, no. You should understand that the Lord Balaram is not out of his control when he gets angry. His anger is pretty much under his control, and he wanted to be angry. Not that he went out of control; he could not control his emotions, and he became angry. No, he became angry for a reason. So, does that mean Narasimhadev is out of control? Became crazy. Ugra Narasimha, crazy. Is that? No, he became angry for a reason. So Romaharshan, as the person, as a guru, he is supposed to set the example. And when the biggest guru came, Balaram is the original guru, right? Huh? Adi Guru, right? So he should respect him. Usually, when you're sitting on the Vyasasana and somebody comes, you should not get up. That's the rule, yes. But when Balaram comes, how can you not get up? So that was his mistake. But the sages said that, oh, you have to atone for your killing of Romaharshan Sutta, right? And asked him to kill Balbala. That's just, there are two things. The Lord has no karma, He does not do anything wrong. But because He came in the midst of human society, um, and so that nobody imitates Balaram, just a minute. Nobody should imitate Balaram, right? We cannot just kill someone with that. Balaram can kill, he can do whatever he likes. So, to set the example that if I do such a thing, then there has to be atonement for that. But in this case, Balaram, it's not an atonement. They are requesting him to kill that Balbala demon because he is a nuisance. So they want some help. So usually the sages, they don't want to ask Krishna or Balaram or God for their personal thing. But here they asked, but they still ask for any removal of obstacles. Like we also pray to Narasimhadev to remove obstacles for our service. Whether that be external obstacles, like, in our preaching we may face some obstacles, or more importantly, more often than not, our own internal obstacles. Karmashayam randhaya randhaya tamo grasa grasa om swa bhushtam om shram. What? 10:68:47. Wait. कोपस्ते अखिल शिक्षार्थम कोपस्ते अखिल शिक्षार्थम न द्वेषान्न च मत्सरात् बिभ्रतो भगवन् सत्वं स्थितिपालन तत्परः. Very nice. Your anger is meant for instructing everyone. It is not a manifestation of hatred or envy. O Supreme Lord, you sustain the pure mode of goodness and you become angry only to maintain and protect this world. Yes, very nice. So the Lord's anger and the devotee's anger also is for this purpose. It's not a manifestation of hatred or envy. Good question. Name bhakta satejana, ye me bhakta jana partha. ये मे भक्त जना पार्थ न मे भक्ताश्च ते जनाः मद्भक्तानां च ये भक्तास्ते मे भक्ततमा मताः. Lord Krishna told Arjuna, those who are my direct devotees are actually not my devotees. But those who are devotees of my servant are actually my devotees. So even though they had direct contact with Balaram and Balaram was favoring them by teaching Duryodhana all these things, they did not get spiritual strength, although they were with Balaram. Balaram is a source of spiritual strength, but Duryodhana, being a disciple of Balaram, he learned only how to beat with the mace. He got material strength, but no spiritual strength. Because if he had spiritual strength, he would not do such a thing. He would not go against dharma. So this is, you see this example here, 1899 Madhya. You know that this is where Balabhadra Bhattacharya, who is a personal servant of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was fooled. There was a Kaliya, he thought it was a Kaliya and Krishna, but actually it was a fisherman on a boat. And all the people were thinking it's a Kaliya and Krishna. So, at that time, Balabhadra Bhattacharya placed a request at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He said, please give me permission to go see Lord Krishna directly. He was seeing Lord Krishna directly in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is saying, please give me permission to see Krishna directly. So here, you see, a sincere person, okay, everyone has to see Krishna according to the verdict. Hey, don't get distracted. Everyone has to see Krishna according to, you asked question, right? Everyone has to see Krishna according to the verdict of Vedic literatures presented by the self-realized spiritual master. A sincere person is able to see Krishna through the transparent via medium of Sri Gurudev, the spiritual master. Unless one is enlightened by the knowledge given by the spiritual master, he cannot see things as they are, even though he remains constantly with the spiritual master. You understand the point? Unless one is enlightened by the knowledge given by the spiritual master, he cannot see things as they are, even though he remains constantly with the spiritual master. So they were with the original spiritual master, Duryodhan and party, but they are not enlightened by the knowledge given by the spiritual master. So even if I am with God, if I offend his devotee, if I go against dharma, then what is it? Of course, they were actually devotees. Duryodhan was not actual devotee. He just learned how to fight with a mace. So sometimes Krishna may give material gifts to someone, but he may not give the spiritual gift. This is also mentioned. You know where? This verse. Mat praptaye jesha surasuradayastapyanta ugram tapa indriye dhiyah rite bhavat pada parayanannamam vindantyaham tvad hridaya yatojita. Lakshmi Devi is saying to Narayana, O Supreme Unconquerable Lord, when they become absorbed in thoughts of material enjoyment, Brahma and Shiva, as well as other demigods and the demons, undergo severe penances and austerities to receive my benedictions. Okay? Everybody wants Lakshmi's benediction. But she says, I do not favor anyone, however great he may be, unless he is always engaged in the service of your lotus feet. So I only bless my your devotees. Because I always keep you within my heart, I cannot favor anyone but a devotee. Okay? She said like this. Now, purport, Prabhupada explains, then what about those people who have wealth? Because Lakshmi is supposed to be the source of wealth. But they're not devotees. But they have a lot of wealth. In fact, devotees don't have any wealth. Where is the benediction of Lakshmi? Huh? Devotees become poor, they become sannyasi, Babaji. They don't have wealth. But materialists have so much wealth. So how come Lakshmi is not following her word, following her promise? But here he says, although sometimes a materialist becomes opulent in the eyes of another materialist, such opulence is bestowed upon him by the goddess Durga Devi, a material expansion of the goddess of fortune, not by Lakshmi Devi herself. So such wealth of the materialist is actually Durga Devi's benediction. Now, a point that Prabhupada makes here is that, you see, we have actually seen that one of the disciples of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur wanted to enjoy the property of his spiritual master. And the spiritual master, being merciful toward him, gave him the temporary property, but not the power to preach the cult of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all over the world. That special mercy of the power to preach is given to a devotee who does not want anything material from his spiritual master, but wants only to serve him. So if I am with the spiritual master and I am only wanting some material thing, and I want to, Duryodhana did not want to serve Balaram. He did not want to serve Balaram. He just wanted to learn from him and then be friendly with him and respect him for what he, like a guru, material guru, for teaching a material art. Other than that, devotionally, he learned nothing. He is constantly with the spiritual master, but never learned anything. No enlightenment. It's a good question and a very pertinent point. That when we are with devotees, we should advance in our knowledge. Otherwise, we cannot see things as they are. We will never be able to see. And when difficult situations come, we become bewildered. We don't know how to handle it. And we may leave Krishna consciousness because we are not strong spiritually. That knowledge, that's why this Balaram, why, okay. Okay, 2-3. Krishna said, Klaibyam masma gamah parthan naitatvai upapadyate kshudram hridaya daurbalyam tyakvotishta parandra. What is daurbalyam? Weakness. Bala means strength. Daurbalyam means, durbala means no strength. Daurbalyam means born of weakness. Hridaya daurbalyam, petty weakness of the heart. He said, it does not become you. Do not yield to this degrading importance. It does not become you. Give up such petty weakness of heart and arise, O chastiser of the enemy. This is leaking. So, what is this petty weakness of the heart? Oh, you're not being a man, you're not fighting, trying to escape the battlefield. Not just that, not just like ordinary manly behavior. Oh, you're behaving like a eunuch of woman. How come you have no bravery? You are not standing and fighting. It's not just that. He meant a much deeper thing here. Shudram Hridaya Daurbalyam. Hridaya, this Daurbalyam, this weakness, is a spiritual weakness. Arjuna was very strong materially. He was the best archer of his time. No problem in killing even the demigods for him. But you see, why this weakness of heart? Because there was a lack of, he was confounded. His knowledge was disturbed because of affection, material attachment. He knew, but he could not do it because he was attached. So that manifestation of knowledge, to be very clear on what is material, what is spiritual, and be fixed up on the spiritual and not consider any material considerations, that is a sign of strength. But because he was attached, that's a weakness. And this Durbala is here stated. Jelila Amrita Vene Khaya Jadi Annapane Tabe Bhakter Durbal Jivan. Daurbalyam Durbal Jivan. Jara ek bindu pane utfullita tanumane hasegaye karaye nartan. Men become strong and stout by eating sufficient grains, but the devotee who simply eats ordinary grains but does not taste the transcendental pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Krishna gradually becomes weak and falls down from the transcendental position. If we don't do Shravan Kirtan, we will become weak. However, if one drinks but a drop of nectar of Krishna's pastimes, his body and mind begin to bloom and he begins to laugh, sing and dance. Purport is most important. All the devotees connected with the Krishna consciousness movement must read all the books that have been translated, the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and others. Otherwise, after some time, they will simply eat, sleep, and fall down from their position. Thus, they will miss the opportunity to attain an eternal blissful life of transcendental pleasure. So, even if I am in the temple, if I don't engage in Shravan Kirtan process, I will fall down. I will for sure fall down. What is actually Mathura Vas or staying in the temple? माली होया करे से बीज आरोपण श्रवण कीर्तन जले करे सेचन. When a person receives the seed of devotional service, he should take care of it by becoming a gardener and sowing the seed in his heart. If he waters the seed gradually by the process of Shravan and Kirtan, hearing and chanting, the seed will begin to sprout. Now, the first line is very important. To live with devotees or to live in a temple means to associate with the Shravan Kirtan process. Otherwise, we're not living in the temple. You understood? So I can be with the spiritual master and not get enlightened by the knowledge given by the spiritual master, and I can be in ignorance even though I may be in the proximity of the spiritual master. The example is given like the mosquito. He may be on the king's lap. No minister will dare to sit on the king's lap. King is sitting on the throne. The minister will come and sit on his lap, but the mosquito is sitting. Does that mean that the mosquito is greater than the minister? Just because he is closer to the king than the minister? Minister is sitting there, mosquito is sitting on the lap, on the throne. He is a disturbance. So similarly, if I am a disciple, if I am close to my spiritual master, but if I give trouble to the spiritual master by not hearing him, I am a disturbance. I am a mosquito. So Duryodhana was like the mosquito. Yes. One second. You don't lose anything but you?
When we die.
Or die.
So we don't see this life. Krishna see that when we get the human form, we keep this consciousness.
So how it works is, now those children who are born of devotees, they don't exactly remember what they did in their past life. Krishna remembers. So he will put the soul in a situation where he can continue from where he left. The soul himself does not maybe remember what he did, what he did not do. But Krishna remembers, and he will make him continue from where he left off. So it's Krishna's arrangement. Karmana Daivanetrena, 331.1. By the arrangement of higher authorities, we are put in a situation. Because the memory is there, he knows what we did. We don't know. And if it's good that we do not know, because we cannot handle such memory. We cannot, if something traumatic happens to us, then such memory will be very painful. So over time, we become less and less aware, or our memory of that fades. And that is good for us. Otherwise, we cannot handle it. So if I remember my past life, I will not be able to handle such memory, because with my devotional progress also I will remember the other things which happened. And all of it, why unnecessary baggage? Krishna just wants us to focus on advancing in devotional life, having the confidence that Krishna made all the arrangement for us, and now we should just go forward. Any other questions? Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Somebody is asking some questions on. Somebody is asking, what if I share one prawn with my sister? Does that mean half birth? If one prawn, if it is divided into me and my sister, then what? I will take half a prawn birth? No. Both of you will become prawn. Because both of you are, if two people are charged for a murder, if they collectively kill, not only the brother and sister, but who caught the prawn, who killed the prawn, who cooked the prawn, everybody. Manusmriti says 8 different kind of people who transport the prawn, all are accomplices in the murder or the killing of the prawn. Everyone will get, all become prawn. So what will you say? Okay, there's a relevant question. What will you say about non-vegetarian offerings to gods like goddess Kali? Okay. Actually, this goddess Kali thing, offering, is because if I cannot stop eating meat, okay, don't eat it every day, eat once a month on Amavasya by offering only goat to Kali. But that does not absolve us from the reaction. Not that we are clean of that. You see this, 11.5.14. Ye tvan evam vido. Hey, Haribol, class is still going on. Still not over. I'm still live. If you don't want to be here, you can go, but don't disturb, don't play here. Not a playground. Ye tvan evam vido santah stabdhaha sad abhimaninah pashun druhyante vishrabdhaha pretya khadanti te chatan. Those sinful persons who are ignorant of actual religious principles yet consider themselves to be completely pious, without compunction, commit violence against innocent animals who are fully trusting in them. In their next life, such sinful persons will be eaten by the same creatures they have killed in this world. You see, they consider themselves to be completely pious, and they do this Balidan in front of Kali. thinking that it is all religious, pious thing I'm doing. No. We are not saved. Because even when you're doing the Balidan, the thing is, it is only saving you from constant sinning. Okay, once a month sin. One life, one goat. Okay. But you still have to become that goat and die. So, it's only meant to discourage you from actually doing it. Okay, so I think some are simply some joking questions. They're not serious. Somebody is saying Ramakrishna Paramahamsa ate fish regularly, yet he is a revered saint. Revered by who? By fish-like people. We don't care for such reverence. He is not a Paramahamsa, he is a Paramagamsa. It is nonsense. People who describes, who decides he is a Paramahamsa or not? Krishna has to decide. Mahajan, Mahatma, who is Mahatma? What is that? Bahunam janmanamante jnanavan mam prapadyate vasudeva sarvamiti sa Mahatma. And he is Sudurlabha. Who understands Krishna as all in all and surrenders to him, he is Mahatma. And he's, what is that? Mahatmanastu mam partha daivim prakriti ashrita bhajanti ananya manaso. That's the activity of the Mahatma. He surrenders to Krishna and engages in Krishna's service 24 hours a day. That is Mahatma. So if somebody calls him a Paramahamsa, just like, like Gandhi was called Mahatma by who? Not by Krishna's certification, by some people who don't know what the definition of Mahatma is. That doesn't count. Sorry. This Paramahamsa title doesn't count for Ramakrishna. He's a rascal. He's revered by rascals, and that is also explained here. I'll tell you. Because I have to show evidence. 2:3:19. Tattvavit varahoshtra kharai samstutah purushah pashuh nayat karna pathopeto jatunama gadagrajah. Men who are like dogs, hogs, camels, and asses praise those men who never listen to the transcendental pastimes of Lord Sri Krishna, the deliverer from evils. So if the leader is like this, and some people of the caliber of dogs, hogs, camels, and donkeys praise those men as Paramahamsas, they are Parama donkeys, Parama dogs, Parama hogs, Parama camels. That's what they are. That's what he is. So we don't consider him as Paramahamsa. Okay. Somebody was asking, Karthik, where does the desire to commit such sinful acts arise? Is it from karma or one's free will? Good question. It actually happens with sangha. Sangat sanjayate kamaha. Okay. Sangat sanjayate kamaha means, according to my association, I develop my desire. Right? Sangat sanjayate kamaha. Now this sangha, what sangha is this? Sangha with the modes. Purusha prakriti sthohi bhungte prakriti jan gunan karanam guna sangosya sadasadyoni janma. So the living entity in material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. So when we associate with the three modes, then our desires develop. Thus he meets with good and evil among various species. Now even if I contact the modes, sangat sanjayate kama is there. But when does that, what actually happens? Because a devotee can also associate with people of the mode of ignorance, but he may not get infected if he is giving his association. But if we take the association, then we may be contaminated. So when we take their association, it is called kama. It means we want to enjoy that association of that mode. So that kama esha, krodha esha, because Arjuna asked the same question. What did Arjuna ask? Athakena prayuktoyam papam charati purushaha anichannapi varshneya baladiva niyojitaha. Arjuna said, O descendant of Vrishni, O descendant of Vrishni, by what is one impelled to sinful acts, even unwillingly? So the question was, is it free will? But no, unwillingly. I don't want to do it, but I somehow did it. As if engaged by force, as if somebody was forcing me. I know it is wrong, yet I did it. Why? Arjuna, Krishna answers, Shri Bhagavan Vacha Kama Esha Krodha Esha Rajoguna Samudbhavaha Mahashano Mahapapma Vidhyena Mihavarinam. So, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, it is lust only, Arjuna, which is born of contact with the material mode of passion and later transformed into wrath, anger, and which is the all-devouring sinful enemy of this world. So, because of this, we get embroiled in sinful activities. It's because we associate with the modes, and then we want to enjoy the modes. Bhunkte prakriti jan gunan. Bhunkte means I want to enjoy. Prakriti jan gunan. That kama becomes krodha, and mahapapma will engage us in, make us engage in sinful activities. So this is how it happens. That's why our association is very, very, very important. Satsangan mukta duhsanga. By satsanga, devotee association, we should mukta duhsanga. We should get liberated from bad association. And bad satsanga means, devotee association means not just being with devotees, actually understanding and following and transforming our character. That is okay. I'll stop it here. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanand.